Longworth, and welcome to another episode of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville, which we hope you'll visit. We'll tell you more about them later on. Speaking of later on, that's when the roundtable shows up, and we'll get into all sorts of controversies then. But I hope you'll stay with us throughout the entire half hour. Lots of great guests and good discussions going on. We're going to give you some information for everything from car insurance to therapy dogs to, and a lot more. But where I want to start is talking about a promise that's been made by the good folks at Forsyth Tech. I want to find out about that promise and see if they're keeping it. On my right, a visitor who's been with us before, and we always love to have her when she can drop by. Dr. Janet Spriggs is president of Forsyth Tech, and a first-time visitor to the show, socially distanced behind us, Flora Calderon-Steck. She's Director of Educational Partnerships at Forsyth Tech. Welcome, ladies. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Janet, I'm going to start with you. You emailed me and said, let's talk about the Career and College Promise. So let's remind everybody, what is the Career and College Promise?
Wonderful. Career and College Promise is a great opportunity for high school students, primarily 9th through 12th graders at Forsyth Tech. Most of our students are 11th and 12th graders, juniors and seniors. But it's an opportunity for them to, while they are in high school, actually earn college credit. And it's dually enrolled credit for most of those opportunities, so they're earning high school and college credit in one college class.
Duly enrolled, so that means you could be a high school senior or getting your high school diploma, but also taking some courses at Forsyth Tech.
That's right, exactly. And in many cases, the courses that they're taking at Forsyth Tech give them credit towards their high school diploma, as well as giving them credit towards their college degree.
So it goes both ways. Very quickly, I want to get with Flora in just a second, but very quickly, Janet, how do I want to phrase this? Who is best suited? What kind of student is best suited for this? Because, not every student maybe is going to want to take advantage of this.
Yeah. Well, you have to have a student who's willing to put in the work. A college class is different than a high school class, so you definitely have to have someone who's motivated that way. Sometimes it can take away from some of their opportunities for social activities, and so they have to be willing to accept that. I also would say that this is an equity conversation, and so for a lot of our low-income students, they are great candidates for this because it kind of gives them a head start. It's free.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but since you mentioned equity, let me go to Flora for a second. Are there fees involved in this? Are the students charged a fee or what?
Yes, that's actually a great question because we're so proud to let the public know that this program is tuition free for all of our students because the state waives that. But Forsyth Tech has gone ahead and waived the fees because there are some fees associated with the courses. If there's a lab or other fees, the college has waived those for the students and basically making this program free.
Yeah, and more accessible to the folks that need to take advantage the most of it, especially in this market of coming out of the pandemic, hopefully, and needing jobs and careers. Flora, what kind of feedback are you getting already, or can you get any feedback on this so far? From about the program. How do you think it's going to go?
Oh my gosh, we're so excited about this program because it's really getting high school students into the college setting. It's getting them excited about what are the possibilities after they graduate. So the feedback is really good and very positive, particularly when we go out and talk to high schools, virtually right now, of course.
Right.
But the feedback is from the school counselors it's very exciting. They're very excited about this.
Now, help me with this, Flora. If I go through this program, I'm a high school junior, senior, since Janet mentioned the dual track, am I coming out of this on the other end with an associate degree or what?
Right. So at the very least, you're coming out with some college credit. So already you're getting ahead. So those are credits that you're not going to have to take after you graduate from high school. So you're saving time and you're saving money. That's the minimum. And the experience of being in college.
Right.
But you also get a certificate or a diploma or the associate's degree.
Well, we have a few seconds left, Janet. Why is this good? We know it's good for the student. Why is it good for the community?
I think it's good for the community because it's helping us create that college-going culture. It's helping us get students, as Flora mentioned, used to college and excited about what college can offer them.
I'm excited just talking to the two of you. You come back, keep me posted on this?
Yes, absolutely.
Up on screen, forsythtech.edu. Please check that out, forsythtech.edu. We'll be right back. Back now on Triad Today, and it seems like just yesterday I was the MC for a big event to announce the opening of Kernersville Medical Center. Now it's 10 years later, And Novant Health Kernersville Medical Center is growing by leaps and bounds, doing very well, getting ready to do more expansion. Well, the good folks in Novant sent over a couple of web videos with Kirsten Royster, the president of Kernersville Medical Center, to let us know what's going on there and give us an update. Here she is.
March 16th of 2011 was the opening date of Kernersville Medical Center. So we're coming up on our 10th anniversary and really excited to celebrate that with the team here at the medical center and really think about what an incredible decade it's been so far. For some of our team members that have been here since the first day, they remember looking out the windows and getting so excited in those first weeks of seeing some cars come in for a surgical case or a radiology study. So I think there was such incredible excitement about serving this community. And you can see it in them when you can just picture them looking out the window at these, fairly empty parking lots at the very beginning to now what we do, where we, serve thousands of patients each year. We're really excited to be planning for the first expansion of the medical center, which will allow us to add a cath lab for heart and vascular procedures, and also add more beds, not only for medical surgical needs, but also to open a maternity center. Yeah, this expansion will allow us to invest about $50 million into the community for the construction. We'll be adding to our second floor here at the medical center, adding a fourth floor, and then reusing some of our first floor space as well. So it's a mix of net new square footage and then also using existing. Yeah, I think one of the things that we do on a routine basis is really look at the community at large. Where is the growth occurring from a proximity to the medical center? What type of age groups are we needing to serve currently and in the future? Who's working here? Who's living here? All of those things make a big difference into us thinking about what services should be provided locally. And certainly the addition of our breast surgery program was because of that analysis. Our colorectal surgery, we now have robotic assisted surgery that we opened up last spring. Despite the pandemic, we continued to focus on the additional growth we needed to provide a community that was outside of certainly meeting the needs of our COVID patients. I think during COVID, I think we continue to demonstrate certainly our mission to serve our community in an extremely deep way related to meeting the needs of the pandemic, from testing to treatment, but also making sure that we provided that sense of normalcy for our non-COVID patients that needed our care, whether it was a surgery or a procedure or an imaging. That focus on those patients as well, and balancing all of that was extremely challenging, but certainly necessary for our community.
For more information, you can go to www.novanthealth.org/Kernersville. We'll be right back. Back now on Triad Today, and always glad when the good folks from Daggett Schuler can drop by and spend a few minutes with us. And we're going to talk about something related to car insurance, I believe. Of course, with me now on my immediate right, David Daggett, attorney with Daggett Schuler. His partner, Griff Schuler, is socially distanced in between us back there. Welcome, guys. Good to see
Jim.
you.
Thanks, Jim.
Let me just say that I guess it's okay to say that you had emailed me earlier, and you were talking about auto insurance, but you used an analogy. I wasn't understanding exactly where you're going with it. You said, I'm gonna say something about windshield wipers. I said, okay, David, go ahead. Now, what's the analogy?
Well, the question is, have you checked your windshield wipers lately? Most of us wait until it rains to see if our windshield wipers are good or bad. And if you're that type of person, maybe you should check your automobile insurance, because most people don't look at their insurance policies until something bad happens.
That's true. Okay, that's true.
And this is a great time for folks to start looking at that, because a lot of people haven't been driving as much.
Because of the pandemic.
Or they may be thinking about the summer and doing vacation plans, and they may be driving outside of North Carolina.
Right.
So now is a perfect time to look to see what's actually on your car insurance.
Right. I'm going to have you guys divide this one because I want to understand more about the uninsured motorist coverage versus underinsured motorist coverage. David, let's give you uninsured motorist coverage.
Sure. So Uninsured motorist coverage is when the other driver does not have any insurance on their car.
You get into an accident.
And you get into an accident. If you don't have uninsured motorist coverage, you're likely out of luck.
Wow.
So in North Carolina, estimates, it bounces around a little bit, but approximately 10% of all drivers on the road do not have insurance on their car.
So you're saying even if it's somebody else's fault and they ram into me, but I don't have uninsured motorist coverage.
If you don't have uninsured motorist coverage and they do not have insurance, you are out of luck. Medical bills, lost wages,
Oh, wow.
all your suffering, you are out of luck. And if you travel, some states that percentage is higher. In Florida, right now, 26% of all drivers do not have insurance. So if the unfortunate things happens,
Oh, man.
if you wait until it rains to check your windshield wipers.
Yeah, that's the analogy.
And you don't have uninsured coverage.
That's right.
You are in trouble.
Yeah. Now, Griff, clear up for me the underinsured. What's underinsured motorist coverage?
So with underinsured motorist coverage, Jim, that's a situation where if the other driver that causes the accident doesn't have enough insurance, so they have like minimum limits, then your underinsured motorist coverage kicks in to provide that extra coverage you may need. In North Carolina, Jim, 70% of the folks that do have insurance, so 10% have no insurance.
Right.
70% of the folks in North Carolina that do have insurance have the minimum limits of $30,000 of insurance coverage. So anything that's above $30,000 in a claim, think about medical expenses and how easy it is to get above that threshold.
That could be spent in one day.
You're out unless you have underinsured motorist coverage.
So underinsured kicks in above that and covers the difference.
Why is it, I guess you both have answered this, but let me just pinpoint why it's so important to be protected the right way with the right kind of insurance, because you guys see these kind of situations all the time, right?
We see lives that are shattered following an accident, and many, many times there simply isn't enough insurance coverage to pay the medical expenses, the lost wages, and the other damages a person and their family suffers. It's tragic.
And Jim, one thing that David and I are big proponents of is have a local insurance representative to help you with your insurance.
Right.
It's
Agents.
Agents. It's a situation where it's easy just to respond to what you see on TV or whatever with a phone call, and you think you're going to do it with a phone call. Go over with a local insurance agent that can go through things with you and make sure you have these types of coverage.
That's great advice. That's what my wife and I do. You know, somebody that we know. I mean, it could be somebody you know that you work with or you go to church with or whatever, but they're right. You know, go with somebody you know like that for insurance. Great stuff, guys. Up on screen, daggettschulerlaw.com, daggettschulerlaw.com for general information if you need some help, or call 336-724-1234. Guys, thanks for giving this information. A little bit of it's shocking, but useful, and I appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Good to see you.
We'll be right back. Right, today we have made some changes in our setup here at the garden. The table is out, the flowers are out, so that we can make room for Bendy, Bubba, and Pierre. Pierre is the white poodle. Hey, Pierre. He's heard his name. I do that too. Whenever I hear my name, I get up and roll over. And these are three great dogs. We're going to tell you more about them and why they're here in just a second. But on my immediate right and socially distanced over there, Roger Berendis, who is Vice President and COO of First Light Home Care. And we also have with us as first-time guest, Jenna Rittenhouse. She's Director of All Things Dog for the Bark and Fly Ranch. Welcome. Good to see you.
Glad to be here.
I'm going to start, Roger. What are some of the emotional and mental benefits to people when they interact with dogs? What are the benefits?
The benefits is they immediately relax. They come up to them and even unconsciously they start petting them, and you can see their demeanor calm down.
So that helps me with the stress and the mental and emotional, and also physical benefits?
It's because if you don't have stress and things of that nature, you feel better.
Right.
Because when you get all excited and nervous and everything, that affects your heart, it affects your breathing, and a lot of other things that are going on.
And Pierre is being trained, I believe, to do therapy work, and especially for seniors and others. Bendy has done some, and Bubba is just Bubba. Bubba is... Anyway, Jenna, what is the, I need to ask you, what is the Bark and Fly Ranch, very quickly? What is that all about?
The Bark and Fly Ranch is a boarding, grooming, day camp training facility in High Point, North Carolina. We're smack dab in the middle of the Triad, so we are your universal one-stop shop for all things dog.
And as I mentioned, now Bendy has done some therapy work, right?
Bubba has, yes.
Bubba has.
Yep, Bubba Gump. He went through the CDC certification. Bubba, say hello. He says, I'm shy today. Go say hello.
Come here, Bubba. Come here.
Boy. Yeah.
You're being talked about. Yeah.
But he once upon a time did some therapy work. We've retired him a little bit. He's on the older side, but and Bendy is actually a freestyle frisbee dog. But
Okay.
Bubba Gump went through the certification when I was in Charlotte. He did a phenomenal job.
What's the difference, Jenna, between a therapy dog, a service dog, and a support dog? Because those terms get mixed and bumped around a lot.
They do. They often get interchanged, and they could not be far from different from each other. Service dogs are trained and bred for specific purposes, whether it's bracing dogs, so people in wheelchairs can physically use the dog to get up out of things, to allergy alert dogs, to obviously you have your PTSD and those dogs that have done work with veterans. An emotional support animal is one that has to be prescribed through a psychiatrist. Right. So generally, those are the ones that, with a pre-existing, whether it's anxiety, depression, you name it, disorder, if the healthcare professional deems appropriate, then that, as opposed to a therapy dog, is trained to go through the Canine Good Citizen, the AKC Canine Good Citizen training to be able to go into those homes like Mr. Berenda's has and provide emotional support.
And you can do all this training from your place, right?
I can do the therapy dog and also the ESA.
Roger, let me ask you, because you and I are both senior citizens. And so why in particular are therapy dogs and dogs in general good for senior citizens?
Because they give them something to focus on. They give them something to focus on besides their own ailments. Too many seniors are living with a spouse of the same age,
right,
and not around a lot of other outside people, a lot of other interaction with them. They have interaction with them, so it gives them something to feel good about themselves. They're feeling valuable, and it helps relax them and keep them calm down.
And give us a responsibility, because at 5 every morning, our two poodles, they come to me and they want to eat. So I've got the responsibility there.
And it forces you to get up.
Yeah.
It forces you to get up in the morning.
Unlike Bubba Gump, who's forced to just lay down there. Bubba Gump's been doing what a lot of my guests do. He's just sleeping through the interview. All right, up on the screen, firstlighthomecare.com. Please check that out. They do great service in helping people with health care in the home. And also a plug for barkandflyranch.com, or you can call 931-0909 to get to Jenna. For both of you, thank you so much for what you do. I really appreciate you coming.
Well, thank you for having us.
All right, and thank you to Pierre and to Bendy and to Bubba Gump, who is still sleeping. We'll be right back after this. Now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out and a big thank you to the good folks at Senior Botanical Garden. Go to their website if you would, please, seniorbotanicalgarden.org. Visit the website, visit the garden. We thank them for their hospitality. And now to the roundtable. On my immediate right, but always the political left, Ogie Overman, the great broadcaster and journalist, socially distanced behind us. Two of my least favorite people. No, I don't mean that. Favorite people. Favorite people. I mean,
talking about David.
David Daggett, we held over from a previous segment, and Keith Cranberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants. Guys, I want to start with something that was in the news recently, and it probably interests David because it's law related. 2 Elon Law School students got a group together to protest and wanted the portrait of former Greensboro Mayor Jim Melvin removed from the law school because back in 2015, he told the News and Record that he didn't think the 1979 Klan versus Communist Party shootout should be considered a massacre of sorts. The courts sort of agreed with Melvin that it was a self-defense thing, even though the KKK was better armed. Anyway, the point being, they want the portrait removed because Melvin didn't say the right thing. Melvin, who there wouldn't be a law school if it wasn't for Jim Melvin. So the question is, should the portrait be taken down, guys, and should everything we become woke to be removed? Ogie.
You know, I'm afraid we're in danger of carrying it too far, Jim, being woke. I think a lot about this. I know Melvin, he's not a racist guy. I mean, he's got his detractors and he's done some things that are worthy of criticism, but that's not one of them.
David.
I got a three-part answer.
All right.
First of all, as you know, I've got college students, and I love that those two students are pushing issues in society, whether they're right or wrong.
Right.
Second is, Elon College is a private school. They should decide this internally, not a public issue. And third is, I agree 100% with Ogie. I think that one goes too far. Jim Melvin's a good guy, and portrait should stay up.
Well, you know, to one of Ogie's points and one of your points too, the students have pushed for some reforms. They're stepping up, Elon's stepping up their diversity and inclusion program. Some good things are coming from that. We're just talking about the portrait thing. Keith, quickly.
Well, I think number one, people starting to use woke as a weapon, and they're starting to use it as a racial weapon. And I think we need to stop that. The second thing is that being woke is not a bad thing. I mean, we're looking at people who have done things in the past. Now they're bringing those up. Is that bad? I mean, they're still pursuing Nazi war criminals right now, are they not?
Right.
So we have to look at this thing and look at it in its entirety. We don't need to be looking at every issue, but being woke means actually looking at the issue. Doesn't mean taking away, but actually looking at the issue and examining it.
Yeah, you're right. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because the Dr. Seuss thing has been talked to death, but I do have a specific question about taking some of the Dr. Seuss books out of circulation because of stereotypical images. The question is, the Republican Party nationally and locally are saying they're going to take back Congress by using this PC, politically correct, cancel culture thing against the Democrats, using Dr. Seuss as an example. Will they be able to do it, Ogie?
Please run on cancel culture and Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head. Please run on that.
Yeah.
If that's all they got, it shows you how weak they are.
Yeah, David.
Well, somehow this has become a political football, and nobody banned Dr. Seuss. The banned is a misnomer, and it's factually wrong. And if that's where we're running with this, I agree with Ogie. I think it's wrong for either side.
Will the Republicans take over because of this?
What about them? All of the people overrunning the Capitol.
The Capitol.
How about running?
Well, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. That's
yeah.
not.
There are a lot of folks that think
happen.
that January
and
6th.
one of the senators said that if it was the Black Lives Matters, he would have been afraid, but not afraid of the people who stormed the Capitol.
And then said it wasn't a racist comment. Then he said, that's not racist.
Yeah, what an idiot. I don't mean that you and David are idiots. I mean the guy that said
you do.
that. No.
You're trying to say that.
Okay, guys, a federal task force is recommending that smokers and ex-smokers should receive free CT scans starting at age 50 in order to prevent or more effectively treat lung disease and lung cancer. Guys, are you okay with taxpayers picking up the tab for smokers to get a free CT scan? Ogie.
I would think insurance would pick that up. Why would they not? I mean, I'm not really against it, but I think insurance.
Yeah, when the government says that something's going to be done free, you don't know if the insurance company will go along quickly, David.
I'm got both sides of that issue battling around in my head. You potentially head off future medical expenses, which is good for society. Insurance is basically all of us because we're all paying into insurance. So whether it's government insurance, we're all paying for it. So maybe it's good.
I'm for it.
You're for it?
Absolutely.
Good. I think it's okay, I think. The South Carolina legislature just passed a new law that makes it illegal for motorists to drive too slow. It's always been sort of a law in most states, but now they're really going to enforce it and ticket people for going too slow. You guys okay with cracking down on slow drivers, Ogie?
Have you ridden in the roads in South Carolina lately? That's the worst. I've not been to every state, but that's the worst road system I've ever been in. There's potholes on highways. Yeah. It's pitiful.
David.
Yeah, we know from experience that there's a lot of wrecks that are caused out on our roads from vehicles either going too slow or stopping in traffic where they shouldn't. So yes, that should be enforced. It's a safety regulation.
Give tickets to people driving too slow?
They give you a ticket every day, Jim.
You know,
I don't think
you've been talking to my wife too much. You know, Pam will say, "Can you just press down the accelerator a little bit, old man?"
No, I don't think they should give tickets.
You don't think so?
Well,
right.
15 miles an hour on the interstate's too slow. It's dangerous.
All right, finally, guys, a new study, and this is in honor of the therapy dogs we had on earlier in the program. A new study of life in the early 1900s reveals, true story, that most women back then preferred the company of their dog to that of a man. Guys, have you ever dated a woman who preferred her dog to you? Ogie.
Actually, I married a woman. My first wife, I ended up in the doghouse one night, and the dog was, seriously.
I was going to say, who hasn't? I mean, that includes all of us.
Does that include you, David?
My lovely wife does not have a dog, so she prefers me, but I could be interchangeable.
Yeah. Keith, have you ever dated a woman that preferred the company of her dog to you?
Every last one of them.
Well, I can identify with that.
I guess we can, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. All right. Well, that's all the time we have. Oh, except for this. A team of oceanographers just completed a study in which they concluded that the only reason sharks come to North Carolina beaches is to have sex. Another study concluded the same thing about teenagers. For all of us, you like that, Ogie?
It's good.
For all of us here at Triad Today, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.